Tell me about a challenge you experienced. How did you deal with it? All right, now this is where we're going to talk about the STAR interview method. So what is the question behind the question for this? It's very much like the weaknesses question. They are asking a question meant to probe how you deal with adversity, how you can be introspective and reflect on things that have given you challenge, and also how you respond to challenge, how you react. Do you just roll over when the going gets tough, or do you find the way to work through problems, be they on your own or in the company of other people? So let's talk about the STAR method. Okay, so this is a way for you to answer any sort of behavioral interview question. AKA, these are any questions that are asked like this. Tell me about a time when dot, or what do you do when dot? Have you ever done dot? Give me an example of this. A time when things like that. So the STAR method stands for situation, task, action, and result. So this is a blueprint in terms of how to address these questions. So you want to begin with the situation, right? You got to set the scene happening. What was the situation where this challenge occurred? Talk about this in terms of the challenge you experienced. How did you deal with it? Okay, so situation, I have the challenge. How about this one? You're to use an old essay example from someone who submitted an essay to our live essay review. The student talked about how their computer science club wasn't drawing a diverse set of students. It was a pretty homogeneous group who kept going out for this club, and they wanted to try and expand their membership and become better known as an inclusive sort of club that would be regarded as being welcoming to all types of people. So that was the situation. They really wanted to improve the inclusivity of this computer science club and were struggling to figure out how to do that. They were confronted with a problem. That was the situation. So we carry on to task. So in the tasks phase, you want to describe what was your role in the situation? What were you tasked with doing? What role did you have to play in this? When the situation was set and people decided that there was a problem, what was your task in that? So carrying on, we go to action. This follows very closely on the heels of task, right? Explain what steps you took to address whatever that situation was. Given the challenge, how did you respond to it? So if this club wasn't as inclusive as the student wanted it to be, what did they do? They started doing outreach, working on reaching out to different groups of students, making them more aware of resources to the student body, things like that, developing different initiatives to make this. And finally, we get to the final step, which is result. And again, this is pretty self-explanatory. What were the ultimate outcomes as a result of your actions? Following from the previous step. This is where you really want to try to show the scope. This will really help in terms of giving a focused answer without going on tangents or getting details right. So there's a very natural flow to this, right? Situation, there's a problem or a challenge. Task, a method of action for combating the problem is decided upon. Action, right? Your specific role. What did you do to combat this challenge? How did you fight this? And then result, right? What happened as a result of your actions, right? All right. So let's try the STAR method for this question, right? Tell me about a challenge you experienced, right? So let's say you are talking about a time where you were the president of a club, right? Organizing an event, but it was difficult because your partner for this project and this event wasn't available. So they really couldn't help out and you had to do this by yourself, right? So situation would be, that's the situation. Task is, again, your responsibility to organize an event for first years and expose them to research opportunities available on and off campus. Here's your action. Because your partner is no longer available, you have to take action yourself. So you reach out to the other people in the club who want to be more heavily involved but didn't get the chance to get leadership positions, right? So you creating a task force and you get them to help mobilize to organize this new event. And then what's the result? The result is that the event goes really successfully. It goes turnout that the event has ever had in 3 years that it's been organized, and this really shows the effects of what you did. So hopefully through this, you can see the blueprint of how you can use the STAR method to really get from the general to the specific and then to the general again, describing how the role that you play in all of these settings, be they challenge oriented or just circumstantial,